Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exceptional episode of the Gridiron Glory here with Will and Tad. We're going to look at all things Super Wild Card Weekend here, talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and their 22 to 10 home victory over the Green Bay Packers. You have Jalen Hurts, didn't have the most flashy of games, as he was making his first start after his injury. He goes 13 of 21, 131 yards, but the two touchdown passes, also six rushes for 36 yards. So, first things first, it's great to see him back out there competing, able to do what he does. And it seems like they weren't holding back any play calls. They were giving him the go ahead to run the ball straight into contact. So it seems there's no real concern about his health moving forward. So that's great to see. First off, they need him to be the contender that they want to be moving forward. Obviously, the best player on this football team, Saquon Barkley, at least for sure on the offense, 25 carries, 119 yards. He's the guy that moves the ball. He's stirs the drink basically for this offense. They go as he goes. And he was able to certainly do what he needs to do. A big touchdown catch by Dallas Goedert, 4 for 47 on that touchdown, that really sort of firmly put the Eagles in control, gave them all the momentum they needed. So yeah, the Eagles they look very good. Their defense comes out, really puts the Packers in a headlock for the first at least the first three quarters of the game when they only allowed the 3 points. Three interceptions by the Eagles. Rookie Quinion Mitchell from Toledo gets his first NFL interception, and also the seasoned veteran Darius Slay with the interception. And then, of course, their all-pro linebacker Zach Bond, who's having an incredible season, gets the interception. So the Eagles, they come out, they play a very strong game. Um, and after seeing this effort by the Eagles defense, where would you rank this Eagles defense as a unit in the NFL?
Well, Tad, I'm so glad you asked because this Eagles defense and Tad, I mean, we talked about it in the preseason, how they went out and they upgraded the secondary. I mean, you got guys like Cooper DeJean in that secondary, and obviously first round pick Quinion Mitchell. That's exactly what you go out there and you draft him to do is doing exactly what they were doing out there on that football field. You mentioned it, Zach Bond. So you just really love to see the upgrades and the improvements for this Eagles defense. With that being said, Tad, I would easily rank them in the top three. You could, I mean, obviously, these guys, my team Denver might argue a case for that defense, or there might be a couple other teams, but you could argue a strong case for Philadelphia being the best defense in the league. You could argue that, yeah.
I will say the one thing that you definitely do not like to see with the defense here for Philly is the season-ending injury of Nakobe Dean, whose knee
Yes.
injury. He's been put on injured reserve. That's definitely puts a damper on the celebration to some extent. He This is a piece that could have definitely been valuable moving forward in their playoff run. And obviously, you don't want to see an injury like that at this point in the season or at any point, really, but especially now.
You don't want to see an injury like that at that point in the season. And it was really sad to see. And obviously, I feel for him as he will now
Certainly.
have to recover from his injury and not be a part of a perhaps potential Super Bowl run for the Eagles.
Yeah, definitely. He won't be on the field, so they're going to have to do basically the next man up mentality. This is a very deep defense. And it's certainly not out of the question that they could still compete at a high level. Like I said, they draft well on defense. They've been improving their defense. You mentioned all their additions and stuff, and now without N'Kobe Dean, I mean, you'll have to have other linebackers step up. You'll have to have Josh Sweat step up. You'll have to have Oren Burks step up. I mean, these are
Yes.
players that they might not see a lot of playing time. You got Oren Burks out of Vanderbilt, the 2018 third round pick. I mean, he could be in line for a lot more snaps than what he's seen in the regular season. He has 41 tackles on the season, two forced fumbles. So, welcome to the big time. I mean, you could be playing a bigger role. So, this is a deep team, and I have no doubt that they'll still be able to compete at a high level.
Yeah, no doubt that they'll be able to compete at a high level. You know, they're I mean, listen, and they're gonna be playing a very feisty Rams team next week. So I'm gonna be very interested to see how that matches up. And
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting matchup there. The Rams. I mean, they're going to provide a lot of offense, a very veteran offense. They can move the ball with precision, so it's going to be a big matchup for this defense. And for the Eagles offense, my question is that I'll pose to you is: do you think that the Eagles they're going to need a little more from the passing game, a little more from Jalen Hurts in the passing game as they move deeper into the playoffs?
yeah, as they move deeper into the playoffs, yeah, they're gonna have to come out here and prove to themselves, that they can keep winning games, they can still be a cohesive unit. Um, you just like to see like just Jalen Hurts being back, doing his thing. Saquon Bart. I mean, listen, you did not go out and get Saquon Barkley to get a rushing record in the regular season. That's not what you drafted him to. Or I'm sorry, that's not what you picked him up to do. You don't go out and get a guy like Saquon Barkley to do things like that. No, you go out and you get Saquon Barkley to provide a push and leadership in that locker room. Um, to go and make a Super Bowl run. So that's what you got Saquon Barkley for. And you just love to see it for Saquon Barkley in his career. Now with the winning team in Philadelphia, winning a playoff game. I'm so happy for Saquon Barkley, Ted.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something you love to see. I believe that was just his second career playoff win. So, I mean, definitely you'll love to see that. And I mean, he's going to have a chance to keep going forward. Like you said,
25
they bring
carries,
him in.
119 yards. Beautiful performance.
Yeah, they bring him on specifically for moments like this. They want to elevate their team in the playoffs. They've seen their team come up short in the playoffs when they have great regular seasons. And now you get better. You try to get better in every facet of the game. You improve your running back room, obviously, as I suggested in the preseason. You get better on defense. So just a lot of a very well built team here, and they've done a lot of things right. And now they're gonna get tested by the Rams, and if they win that, they'll get tested in the championship game. So it should be interesting to see what goes forward for the Eagles.
There was a point of potential momentum shift for the Green Bay Packers, and that was when the fourth quarter had just started and Josh Jacobs ran it in for a touchdown. You kind of figured in this moment, hey, if you're a Green Bay fan or, I mean, Packers fans back in Wisconsin were probably up on their feet, jumping up and down, all that stuff. They were probably pretty hyped in that moment. But that hype was short lived, and then reality set in once again for Green Bay. Tad, obviously, with what I just mentioned, we'll start talking. We're now shifting to the other side here, and then recap their season. Yeah, Josh Jacobs, 18 carries, 81 yards, and that touchdown. Overall on the season, I think Josh Jacobs had a beautiful season. I mean, I know that you just love talking about this particular team so much, but 301 carries, 1,329 yards. 15 touchdowns, 301 carries. That ranks sixth. The 1,329 yards, that ranks sixth in the league. 15 touchdowns, that ranks fourth in the league. I personally would rank Josh Jacobs a top 5 running back in the league. Sir, I'd like to ask you, where would you rank, in all seriousness, Josh Jacobs amongst running backs in the league?
I mean, he's had an incredible year, and I mean, a similar. I mean, he's no Saquon, but he's in a similar situation to Saquon where you leave a team like the Las Vegas Raiders and you're brought on, and you hope to make a playoff run, and I mean, he gets to experience a playoff game here with the Packers. I mean, that's not something you experience very often, with the Raiders, unfortunately for their franchise. But seeing that, I mean, obviously they didn't have as deep of a run as they would have hoped, but it's nice to see a player at the caliber of Josh Jacobs playing meaningful football.
Yeah, it's nice to see him at the caliber of playing meaningful football. And yeah, absolutely. You just love to see it. So, um, unfortunate ending to his season, though. But yeah, Tad, it seems just after that, the pack, like, it seems to me, Tad, like the fourth quarter, the most important quarter in this game, and the Packers, well, you could mark them absent from that quarter, you could say.
Yeah, I mean the fourth quarter, it was a very rough game for the Packers. You don't score in the first half. Basically the Eagles they lead from start to finish after you fumbled that kickoff. It was a controversial call. Some people say he was down, some people say no way he fumbled, but in the end the officials make the deem that he fumbles the kickoff, and then I mean the Eagles they score that touchdown right out of the gate, and from there the Eagles they lead the whole way. So the Packers, I mean it was a tough one for them, and in the end, I mean you got to get the ball in the end zone a bit better. I feel like their defense they did a respectable job trying to keep them in the game. I mean after that sudden change where they gave up the touchdown, they only allowed a field goal the entire rest of the first half as the Packers offense was unable to produce anything. But yeah, a very difficult performance for Jordan Love, 20 of 33, 212 yards, but the 3 interceptions, that's not something you want to see out of your franchise quarterback in the playoffs.
Not something you want to see out of your franchise quarterback in the playoffs. You know, Tad, I mean, you once had a Brett Favre, you once had an Aaron Rodgers. It's just like, okay, did Green Bay finally miss on a quarterback? Did they
I
did they
don't know
finally miss for a change? Is that what
I
we're
don't
seeing?
know if miss is the right terminology, but if the expectations for Jordan Love was for him to walk into that room and immediately be the next Brett Favre or the next Aaron Rodgers, then there were some misaligned expectations. I mean, obviously, those are two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. They'll both be in the Hall of Fame. Um, they both get their championships. They both win MVPs, stuff like that. And to this point in his career, Jordan Love has not shown that he's really close to that level of play. And I mean, it's not to say that he can't improve, that he can't get better as seasons go on, but he's not shown to be the same level of quarterback as what the Packers and their fans are accustomed to. And I mean, like I said, this playoff game, it was a disappointing game. And of course, now with the big contract that he has, you're expecting him to look better than he looked, but I still don't think it's a fair expectation on Jordan Love to expect him to go out there and immediately be Aaron Rodgers.
And it does look like Green Bay will be getting the 23rd pick in the draft.
Yes.
So you might use that 23rd pick. I mean, what would you say the biggest need for this Green Bay team is? I would personally say you gotta get some stars on that defensive side of the ball.
You could definitely look at the defensive side. You could always improve that offensive line. That never hurts to beef up the offensive line. The defense wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to improve the defense, the linebacker room, the defensive line. Um, I mean, Kenny Clark is solid. But outside of that, I mean, McKinney obviously he had an incredible year. In the cornerback, I'm sorry, in the safety room, he had an incredible year. But you could perhaps improve your secondary, especially with the questions about Jair Alexander and what you can expect from him moving forward, because their secondary without Alexander, it's not to the level that they're hoping it is. So there's a lot of different places the Packers can look. I'd
A lot of
probably
different
think offensive line. That would probably be my first one.
places the Packers can look. So I mean, they're not in the worst, like Tad. They're not in the worst state as a
No.
franchise right now. Obviously, you have the 11-6 season in what was a very tough NFC North. So
I mean,
you
yeah,
know,
five
you
of their six regular season losses were in the division. I mean, you go 1-5 in the NFC North, and you go 10-1 against everyone else in the regular season. So, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of their record it's a product of their difficult division. So, a very interesting team moving forward.
a very interesting team moving forward. Obviously, I just feel like okay, it's not really more so about like I mean, they have most of the pieces there. You might need to make some upgrades maybe on that defense, but now to me, like with teams like this, it's more of a can you have the mental stature to bounce back? Can you have the mental resilience to bounce back from this and up and improve next season? And is Jordan Love just really has to do a lot of self reflecting this off season. And I mean, he Jordan Love definitely needs to. He has a lot of work to do in his development. And to be honest with you, Todd, I feel like in Jordan Love's off season, I would personally say like you need to go out there. You need to work on your mobility. You got to work more on like your just overall composure. You got to ask yourself, Jordan Love. If I'm Jordan Love, I'm asking myself a lot of deep questions, and I'm probably going twice as hard than I ever have with the work that I've done in the past this off season. If I'm Jordan Love.
Yeah, that would certainly be a positive if he was able to do that. And also just a full healthy season out of Jordan Love would be great. He dealt with a couple injuries throughout the year, and of course that did not help his progress at all. But all in all, like you said, yeah, I agree. He just needs to work on improving himself, up his game. Because in the end, I mean, if you want to win in the playoffs in the NFL, you unless you have a completely stacked roster, you need a quarterback playing at a high level.
And the thing is, Tad, we're talking right now about these playoffs, but let's remember what wins, what equals success in the playoffs is the work that you do in the off season.
Yeah,
So Jordan Love just really needs to get to work in the off season. That's my personal that's my honest take on that. Jordan Love, you got some hard work to do this off season. You really just I mean you need to get after it this off season.
a
And I mean
great
the
take.
whole team for that matter, but specifically Jordan Love because I hate to say it, the future of this franchise almost damn near rests on his shoulders. So
It does. When you sign a quarterback to the deal that they signed Jordan Love to before the season, I mean, there's no question that the success of the franchise is going to be tied with that quarterback as long as he's on the roster. I mean, that's just the reality of the NFL. If you're going to have hundreds of millions of dollars invested into your quarterback, then he needs to show up and be the guy that can carry you in the playoffs. And I mean, that wasn't the case this year. Can it be the case moving forward? That is the question that Jordan Love needs to answer in the future.
absolutely. So yeah, like you said, the Eagles are going to be taking on a very resilient Rams team next week. Packers got a lot of work to do. But you're there. I mean, you're there. But you keep like if I'm the Packers, don't give up. Keep working hard in the off season. Just keep working hard if you are them. Obviously, I know you personally don't want them to do that, Tad, but from the big picture of the NFL, I mean, that's the best thing they can do for them. Um, yeah, so there we have it. You know, the Eagles are going to keep trying to get to that Lombardi. Packers only scored 10 points in this game. So there you have it. I didn't really have any other final thoughts or takes on this NFC wildcard matchup.
Yeah, thank you all for watching the Gridiron Glory. As we now move into the playoffs, continue to like, subscribe, and follow our content throughout the playoffs, into the off season. Looking forward to a new season and continue to follow next week as we bring you content from the divisional round. A lot of exciting matchups moving forward, including Eagles Rams. Thanks for watching.
Also, Bills Ravens.